Hey everybody, welcome back to Connerty Meadows Farm. My name is Ricky and today I'm going to go over some things that I take with me when I go fencing. What does that mean? Well, we run a lot of electric fence on this property, which means that trees fall down, you can look around, we have a lot of snow. So, my fence gets broken, twigs snap on it, things get destroyed. When I go out to go fence, there's a lot of stuff I need to take with me. Generally, when I go fencing, this is what I look like. This is a lot of stuff to carry. They're really heavy. And carrying a full-size chainsaw is really hard when you're traipsing through snow. Generally, for me, I'll leave the chainsaw at home. But that also means that if there's something big, I will have to call Thomas to come back and help me. This is generally what I'll grab. Thomas got it for me a couple years ago, and I love it. It's great. The only thing is, this blade I have to take off to put in my 5-gallon pail, or it sticks up and it hurts my legs. And this blade breaks quite regularly. I have to carry a battery, which is fine because most of the time I'm also carrying my drill because we use these kind of insulators that require an attachment on the drill, and then I just drill it into the trees because most of where we're fencing has a lot of trees, so I'm not actually using T-posts and the like. So I'm already carrying a battery and a drill. So being able to switch the battery between this and the saw, it's pretty good. It makes my pail a little heavy, but less heavy than if I was carrying all of this and the chainsaw. The other thing that I carry, which really makes things awkward, is this guy, because I need to be able to clip trees, small limbs, things that are growing up underneath the fence. Again, all of these tools make it really not fun. And then in the bucket itself, we have a lot of weight. We've got attachments. We've got wire. We've got other kinds of wire. We've got another kind of insulators. This is a lot of stuff. So I've been talking to Thomas about wanting to find a tool that we could use, or that I could use, to help me be able to cut trees down a little bit better, but wasn't a full-size chainsaw, because I'm really not comfortable using a full-size chainsaw. I know many of you are, and that's great. Myself personally, not so much. So we started looking at these mini handheld chainsaws, and they looked really, really good. Of course, finances, as many of us know, the way they are, it was kind of out of our budget, and so we were just gonna keep going with what we have here, which I've been doing for my whole life, so obviously I can keep doing. Had to move in here where there was a little less wind. It's pretty windy today, even though it is relatively warm for February here. Actually, it's very warm for February. Anyway, a couple weeks back, I was approached by a company, and they had this little mini chainsaw, handheld, and asked if maybe I wanted to try it out. Given that it was pretty much exactly what I had been looking at but couldn't afford, I was more than happy to jump on this opportunity. Now, I did a little bit of research on the company before I went ahead and said yes, because I don't want to take something that I might not ever use or that I can't properly give a good review on. So I know this is a little out of the norm. This isn't something we would normally do, but because this is an item that we were actually looking at, I felt it was okay to go ahead and say yes. So I got my box in. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what's in there. So the other thing I was worried about was a lot of the other homesteaders that actually had been asked to review this product were from the States, and I was worried that because we live in Canada that they might not actually ship from the States to Canada. Turns out that wasn't a problem. All right, So there she is. Now, this actually, when we looked at the return address on this box, it actually came from Amazon. So I'm going to double check, but I would think that would interpret to say that you can get this from Amazon. I'll verify. If you can, I'll put a link in the description below after we have a good look at it. This is what it's called. It's a Saker mini electric chainsaw. And honestly, this is the exact same kind of style of things that I was looking at. Now, I'll be honest, because most of our tools are DeWalt, I was looking at the DeWalt ones, which were really expensive, which I'm sure they're great because we like all the DeWalt tools, but even Milwaukee had one, a few other brands had one. So it has a battery. Let's have a look at the battery. So the first thing I am noticing on the battery is that there is not a charge indicator. So for example, on my DeWalt battery, there's an indicator here. There is no such thing on this one. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Okay, lubricant for the chainsaw. That's kind of a norm. The charger. And this does not have a charge station. What I can see in there, it looks like this guy just charges directly into the battery. So that's a little different, which is good though, because then you don't need to buy something else. We have a Phillips mini screwdriver in here. We've got an adjuster. I imagine this adjuster is similar to what you would use for a regular chainsaw, but obviously at a much smaller scale. And then look at this little guy. Look at the chainsaw itself. Now that is super cute. Look at this. Look at how cute it is. It is so cute. So it has a guard on it. That's good because you don't want that coming back in your face. There's the tension adjuster, I think. And then normally you would just put the lube on the end of the chainsaw. I will read the instructions. There's a couple buttons here. So my understanding is you have to press this button in order to press this, which is a safety feature. You want to have to be able to push this, so you can't just go this and wreck your hands. Now, if you were left-handed, that might prove to be a little bit more of a challenge for you. I think you probably have to push like this and go like this, unless you can push with your knuckle and hold. So while that's a great safety feature, if you're left-handed, that might be a little bit of a problem. I'm not left-handed, so it's not a problem for me. But to give a thorough review, you'd have to hold and push. That's kind of awkward. And if you got knuckle problems, that might hurt. Now, if you push maybe with your knuckle and hold, I don't know. It is a bit awkward for your left-handies. But other than that, this is really light. Oh my goodness. I want to get my scale out. I think I will. When we're done here, I'm going to go into the house. I'm going to get my soap making scale out because it's super accurate. And I want to weigh these. This is really heavy. This is super, super light. My goodness. That's awesome. Okay, so my only real concern here that I'm seeing so far is how do you sharpen the chain? And we'll read the directions. We'll go inside and we'll have a see what it says. But how would you sharpen this chain? So with a normal chainsaw, there is like we have a little tool and we just rub it across the chains in the right direction. And it's set up perfectly. And where would you get a replacement one? Because chains do break and they get damaged to the point that you can't sharpen them anymore. So those might be some questions that are answered in the book. So have a read over that and we'll go over them. But those would kind of be maybe my first few flags. How to sharpen it and where to get a new chain. So let me read the instructions quick and then I'll come back and see if those questions are answered. So a few interesting things. This lubricant is actually mineral oil. And it actually suggests if you're pruning fruit trees to use vegetable oil instead of mineral oil, because mineral oil is actually not good for fruit trees. So that makes sense. It's interesting that it is just mineral oil. Maybe actual oil would get down into it and wreck it. I mean, it is an electric chainsaw, so I could see that you wouldn't want like oil and stuff like that. Where a gas chainsaw, I mean, the oil is fine. You're already putting gas in it. As I was saying, what I thought, that is the adjuster for there. So that is as I thought. Nowhere in this book does it talk about being able to replace the chain. So I'm going to look on their website or ask the person that contacted me if there is actually a replacement chain. Because I would find that very weird that you have a chainsaw, but you can't get a replacement chain for it. So I'll find that out for you guys. And just like any other chainsaw, it talks about how this can come loose and then you have to adjust it. It talks about making sure you lubricate the chain every time you have to charge the battery. Okay, so obviously they're saying, you know, that's all that it can handle without being lubricated. It is probably a good reminder for you to lubricate that. Don't cut wood any more than 4 inches in length. And I could totally see that because this little guy is not super big. I have small hands, so I could see why you wouldn't want to overcut that. Go ahead and put this battery on. I haven't charged this. I just want to see if it's got any juice in it, if it came charged at all. Ooh! Very cool. It's not really loud either. Very, very cool. All right. Do not cut wood which is more than 4 inches. Do not overpress the machine. When the machine is not used for a long time, please fully charge it and then store it. Cool. All right. I am actually going to go ahead. I just wanted to see if it would work. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fully charge this. And then we will go ahead and we'll try to find some wood to cut. I'm really excited because I wanted one of these. Okay, AC, you've used this before. Feel it? Right? Now, this is the new one we got. Give it a feel. Which one's lighter?
This one's like half the amount of this one.
Yeah, about, eh? Mm-hmm. So, have a look at that. What do you think? See if you can figure out how to turn it on without the directions. Just keep your face away from it.
I'm just looking.
It's pretty good, eh?
It goes fast.
Yeah. We'll try it out later. All right, Casey, your turn. We use this one a lot. It's one of your favorites to use.
It's heavy.
You ready?
Sure. Oi! This one is light. This one's much heavier.
Yeah.
And is unbalanced. This one's actually balanced.
Yeah.
Is there a special button you use?
Let's see if you can figure it out.
Sounds like it'd be much better to use than that one. That one's good too, though.
Oh, yeah. What do you think?
I think we should give it a go.
I think we should too. Pretty light, eh? I think we should weigh it. What do you girls think?
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
I think we should get my scale out and give it away.
So the only thing that I've noticed with this is that it's harder to use with a left hand because you're supposed to push this button in order to unlock this to make it go, because if you're just pressing it without pressing the button, it doesn't work.
Safety feature.
Yeah. So if you were using it, it'd be easier to use it in this hand rather than...
So how are you making it work in that hand?
I am just using my pointer finger and pushing down on the button with this part, and then using the bottom of my finger to push.
Yeah. Still a little awkward though, huh?
It is, but it is usable in both hands.
So as many of you might know, I also make goat's milk soap. So I have a very accurate scale that we're going to use to go ahead and weigh these guys. I'm really curious. Okay, so before you guys start thinking I'm bashing DeWalt here, I am 100% not. We have had this guy for a number of years now, and it is a workhorse. We love it. And as my daughter just pointed out, now we'll actually have two tools to use. One of us can be using this and one of us can be using the new one. So I'm not bashing anyone. We love DeWalt. We still will continue to use this and all of their other tools. It's just really nice to have another tool in the toolbox. Will it even balance is the question. Okay, can you guys read what that says? 5 pounds, 1.3 ounces. Okay. Now, I do know that we are comparing apples to oranges a little bit here, but these are the two things that we're wanting to compare because I use them. So let's see what this little guy weighs. Is it going to balance? There we go. 1 pound and 11.7 ounces. Wow. All right, let's put the batteries on and see what the full unit weighs. All right. DeWalt, you're going first. You got it balanced. So 6 pounds and 7.6 ounces. This is what I have used for many years and carried around. It does the job. 6 pounds. I guess that's pretty heavy. All right, let's see what this new little guy weighs. I'm really curious. I think it's going to be super nice. Balanced. Look at that, 2 pounds, 6.7 ounces. Which one would you rather carry around? I know what I'm going to say.
Oh, I can't read it because it's full of dirt. Look, this is what my wife does to my tools. Like she goes to cut a tree and then she sticks it in the ground. Oh, look, that's wonderful. Look. So we got the DeWalt DCS 367. So this is a reciprocating saw, or a sawzall for those rednecks out there. And so this is what we primarily use for clearing our trails. We've got a pretty good sized blade on there. So I'm just going to kind of compare this new tool that we've got. And what do we got here? It's a Saker. Significant weight difference. This one is, I mean, both of them obviously fit nicely in your hand. Single hand action. I put two hands around this.
Go ahead.
Like, where am I going to put my second hand? Oh, there it is. There it is. I can put it there. It doesn't even fit my hand. The Saker, it's a mini electric chainsaw. So we've got 1.5 amp hour battery, 20 volts. That's a tiny chain. My files won't do that one.
So is that, will you have to get a special file for that, do you think?
Well, it's not going to be the file that I currently have. U2, like the band. But I'll have to look up the chain, look up the file size, but it says U2 on it. There's another one, but it's like really small. I'm a little too old to read that letters. Okay, so is there a model number on this?
It's called a mini chainsaw.
Okay, so the one thing that you want to be sure of is you don't want to contact any part of the saw with the human body. It feels pretty good in the hand. See if we can fire this bad boy up. Ooh, quite noisy.
Actually, it's not that bad.
No, compared to a chainsaw, this is not noisy at all.
Now switch hands. If you were a lefty, how would you press that button?
If I was a lefty?
Yeah, see? Now try to make it. So how are you pressing it?
Yeah, so I mean, it's designed probably for a right-handed person because you got your thumb to push the button because it's a 2-action for safety, which is good. I mean, the DeWalt has like a little lock on it, so you could lock it. So a design feature. If I were an engineer designing this, I am an engineer, but you know, a locking feature or at least an ability to or reconfigure it as a left-handed saw. And maybe they do that. Who knows? Pretty easy. But like at the end of the day, I'm right-handed, and you really want to be operating the saw. I mean, you probably have your hand here as a guard to operate it. It's probably why they've got that there, so you can grab onto it. I mean, really, like for limbing, like even I don't know, I'm going to try to limb with it. I mean, it compared to even my small still saw, like, you know, if this you say it handles up to 4-inch diameter branch, but like for a lot of the cedar work, like if you're, you know, just on a cedar, like instead of using that, which is a little heavier, and if you're doing it all day, I mean, something like this, you know, if you got multiple batteries on the go, depending upon how long these things last.
It says 2 hours steady work, 4 hours.
Yeah, well, we'll test it.
We're going to test it.
We'll test it and see what it is. But yeah, you've got, you know, to be quite honest, I don't know, like I've got big hands, so I don't know how I would get 2 hands on there. Like, I mean, you could conceivably get your both hands underneath like that. I could have both hands underneath and kind of cradle it, and then you know, just use my thumb on the right hand and then just hold it and then do it. I mean, that's what the safety manual says. I'll have to try it in the field and see if you know, one hand, I mean, if I'm, you know, got a tree or I'm grabbing branches or whatever, I might use one hand. I've got enough power that I can easily manipulate that.
I like that it's light.
It's very light, like compared to that. You know, you're using, I mean, I can use that with one hand, but primarily, you know, the DeWalt. Yeah, I can use this one hand, but you know, you're there. You got more meat to grab onto with this one, but at the same time, when you're limbing, you know, you're going to be carrying this all day, which will fatigue you if you're, you know, if you're working a full 8 hours. But no, I mean, it's very light, very light.
We're going to test it.
And we'll check it out. I mean, it's fairly solid. Like, it doesn't feel flimsy in my hand. It feels fairly solid, and you know, like I can get, like I've got big hands, and I can get 2. Like if the safety procedures say that you need 2 hands, you can get 2 on there. And you know, I've got you know, lots of room to hold that button down with my thumb, and I've got control of it with my index finger on the right hand, and then the rest of it I'm just, you know, get firm control of it.
We're going to go and test out my new chainsaw today against that saw in the bush.
First run with the mini Saker chainsaw is that we need to lubricate it, and this is mineral oil that was included in the box when it came to us, so we're just going to put that on the whole outside of the chain. Now keep in mind, they have also said that you need to put oil on the chain after every time you finish a battery.
Probably close to 5 inches, I would say, diameter.
Oh dear.
It's that is precisely one of the issues, right? Like, you've got a, can you push that up? You got this long blade that you're dealing with. Okay, you good?
And that is a good indication of why this is a problem.
Okay, pull this in a little bit, and I'll bring it towards me. We'll put this back in the bush off the trail.
That's what she's normally supposed to cut like.
Yeah, grab that. So I'm supposed to use 2 hands with this?
That's what the instructions say, but well, what do you think?
It's a bit quiet. Very quiet.
Compared to a full-size chainsaw.
It's pretty good. See how long it lasts. Pretty simple to use.
Works pretty fast.
Yep. Easy. See how long it lasts. You put those. You put them down there.
I was able to get in touch with the company, and they do sell replacement batteries, but only in the States. You can order them on Amazon and have them shipped to Canada, but they do not have replacement batteries on Amazon.ca.
So would you use it two-handed?
No. I know that's probably the safety, but.
So which one would you say is easier to use?
The smaller one, but like, again, like, depends on, I mean, that one obviously is lighter, and it's better balanced. Like, this one is quite, like, it feels like it wants to rotate this way, whereas the other one, I'm having to put a lot more force to hold this.
I normally use that one with two hands. Normally when I use that one, I have to use two hands.
Oh yeah, it's heavier, a lot heavier.
I mean, I can do it one-handed, but it's not ideal. Now this is just all cedar that we're cutting down.
With the glove, that button, just don't have the dexterity with the
glove on. Well, is it a good little tool?
I think you'll like it.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. As compared to using the other thing.
B.
You're getting probably to the
What did you say? You don't want to really be using it for what?
something. I mean, that big is.
It said
No.
4 inches was the max you should use it.
Yeah, and that's probably. It sounds about right.
Because it has to do with the length of the chain.
Yeah, you just can't. Right, let's go this way.
There is a path there. You can't really see where it is though. There's a lot of overgrowth there. Well, it's kind of blocking our path. It's definitely a lot quieter than the other one. These paths that we're working on clearing with the little mini chainsaw are the paths that we use to get around the sugar bush. And so far that thing's been a little bit of a workhorse, so pretty happy with that. Tell me, what do you like about it and what don't you like about it?
Lightweight. Well balanced. You don't have to kind of fight against it. You just have to hold it. The only thing I don't like is with the glove, trying to get that button sometimes is a bit of a pain. So you have to be cognizant of it. That's why sometimes it goes off, because you don't have it fully depressed, but that's just because of the glove. One thing you have to, with this thing, you can't push too hard with it. Just let the chain do its work. You don't have to, you feel like you have to push because it's so light, but if you just hold it gently over top of the material, it goes through pretty good. The moment you start getting issues is if you try to push on it.
Now, would you do that with a real chainsaw? Is that the difference?
Well, you've got the weight of the chainsaw, so you're not really, you're letting the weight do the work, but you feel like sometimes you are, like with the chainsaw, if it's dull a little bit, you're pushing into, especially a hard tree. But
and compared to the other one, which we didn't even bring the rest of the way with us because it's too heavy.
Yeah, the trouble is that it wants to, because all the weight is not in your hand, there's a lot of weight out here, and so it wants to rotate that way, so you're constantly having to, put a little bit of extra effort. And like I'm not even putting any effort into holding this. So that's what I've done so far. I don't know how long his battery is.
It's interesting that the other one, the sound always would send the sky into a fit of barking and running. And this one, she's not.
Out of the way.
Did you notice that? It must be running like a lot quieter on her level as well, that she's not barking at it. So don't put pressure, you said? Just let it do its thing?
Yeah, but you still have to have some on there.
Okay. Oh, I gotta go this way.
Because it'll bounce it otherwise. So let the chainsaw do the work. Don't use it as a knife. Have fun, or cut it in half.
Yeah, I will. I'm just gonna throw this one down. It's pretty easy.
Stop using it like a knife. You don't need to move back and forth.
I can see. I don't see how they think that using this with
Okay,
two
hurry up,
hands
'cause they're
is,
good.
I'm gonna say the battery's starting to die at this point. Okay, so I think we can force it out another couple times.
Keep going.
But I
think it's fine.
I think our battery is.
Can you see it?
It's okay. Just keep.
I have a feeling let me see it.
See if it is the battery or if it's a operator error. No, I think it's battery, eh? Battery. We're squeaking the last of the battery out of it now.
You might need well, I wouldn't think it would need a sharpen after
No.
doing this little
I
bit.
think it's the battery probably. I mean, it's cold too, so a battery is going to wear out faster in the cold as well, right? So I'll have to go back And look how long it's been that we've been using it. Well, still a little bit of life left. We're gonna milk it for all it's worth. All right, let's see if we can squeak out the last little battery life out of it. Still have some? Maybe it just couldn't handle the bigger stuff. That's probably a baby maple. But it's in the way. What's wrong? Is it really dead now? Very, very dead. Yeah. The battery indicator is on the plug-in when you plug it in. That's the only indicator that there is. It's not on the battery itself, so you can't tell like with the other one where you can gauge.
Oh, some of them you can read.
No. So
Yeah, I don't know if these are.
be nice if they were universal, but I doubt it.
Okay.
Oh well, done is dead. We killed it. Is what it is. I went back and checked to see when we started using this. This was fully charged before we came outside, and it has been less than an hour. And we have been walking a lot of the time. So I'm going to say the battery life maybe not as long as you want it to be, but cold also does play a factor into that. So we will obviously retry it again when the weather's warmer, but it's only 0 degrees Celsius today, so it's not super cold, but a little less than an hour on the battery front. We are going to take the battery off. So it's a lot like a lot of the other hand batteries. You're gonna push down on the button and pull forward or slide this back. And now we are gonna go ahead and we're gonna charge this battery. Now to charge, you're gonna put the plug in there, and then this is gonna get plugged into the wall. And I'm very curious to see how long this is going to take to charge. So there is no power indicator on the battery. If you look here is your power indicator, and this will go green when the battery is fully charged. So I'll come back and I'll let you know how long it took to charge it. All right, guys, it is finally green, and it took a really long time. I started charging this at 6:23 p.m. and it is 9 p.m. now. Would you buy it?
I don't even know how much it's worth.
So for this, the battery, like the package that we got, less than $100. I think it was $89.90 something or other like that. Would you buy it if you had the extra money to buy it?
I think for like fencing and like little, like if you're, just cleaning off little brush and stuff like that, it's a beautiful little tool to bring through the woods instead of like if you've got your bucket of fencing supplies.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot lighter than me trying to carry that other beast around through the bush in the 5-gallon bucket, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean for small stuff, it's perfect. Like it's not heavy. Obviously, for the time that we used it, we didn't really get a lot of time out of it. But,
yeah, maybe an improved battery life.
Yeah, that's what I would say is probably the biggest disappointment. If I could say anything, it would be just the battery life, because that was an hour of, and I mean, we were walking a lot. We really didn't use it a lot, which is what my worry was.
Yeah, because it's just a small battery, right? But
Yeah, but you can get other amp. Right, it's only 1.5 amp hour battery, so
Yeah.
it's only. I don't know if they offer a.
I don't know.
So.
We'll have to look.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on the farm. We'll see you next time.